So Mike, could you just explain to me how you see the importance of loading pressure within a training environment?
It's massively important because you want to try and get training as close to a match day situation as you can. You'll never quite replicate that because the pressure of winning or losing will always be there on a match day, not necessarily there in training, but you still need to layer the pressure as close as you can to a match as possible. And the reason you do that is because you want to make sure that the players understand under extreme fatigueness and pressure whether they've got the competence to actually go out and execute the game plan or a particular skill while dealing with the pressure. So, you know, layering the pressure is also shows you how far the players have come in terms of the level of getting better. You know, the more they can handle in terms of the pressure and the fatigueness, the more that they're getting better.
And would you say anyone could just take that element and chuck it into a training plan, or would you say how you develop a performance environment, you know, an every time type philosophy has to happen first, or is it just you can just chuck it in?
No, you definitely can't chuck it in because the players will crumble and fail. You have to go through certain steps, and you have to go through the learning phase. The learning for the player, and you have to go whether the player have understand themselves how to execute and when to execute. They've got to go through all that process. Once they do understand, and you feel that the player has got the competence to do a particular skill, then you start lowering putting the pressure on there, layering the pressure and the detail, and then obviously the more you layer the detail, the more pressure you put on, the more you test the skill.
Now, you've been obviously a player at quite a high level in rugby league for well over a couple of years before you turned into coaching. How long have you been coaching now? How many years have it been?
I've been coaching. I started, well, I was still playing, so 1997 I first got my player coaching job. Before that I was coaching and playing amateur for 5 years, so you could argue 93, 94, but professionally since 97, so 17 years now.
So since going in obviously to rugby union, I know, and I might leave a few out, but I know, you know, you've been coaching for Ireland, Saracens Premiership, obviously England, British Lions, and now you're with Bath. At what point in that journey did your light bulb moment start going off when you realised that maybe you were ticking boxes and you weren't really planning that pressure loading enough in training?
Well, I started coaching in 97, and you feel that you're ready to coach because you've got this particular move, stroke tactic, stroke pattern in your back pocket that nobody else is doing, and during your playing career you've kept that secret and you think you're a good coach because nobody else knows, but coach is nothing like that, and it was like 2009 where the light bulb moment had come for me. So it's basically 11 years of professional coaching, 20 years of playing before it finally realised as a coach that you know, I better stop ticking boxes. I better start coaching properly. It's not what I know, it's what the players know, and it's not what I can execute because I'm not playing. It's what the players can execute under extreme pressure. The particular instance was Twickenham, Six Nation game against Ireland. Got behind early, fought our way, clawed our way back into the lead with about 3 or 4 minutes to go, and they had a line out Ireland just outside our 22. They ended up going under the sticks. One particular player wasn't in the position. I thought I told him, you know, I thought I went through it in training with him where to stand, and totally after the game went down heavy on him for not being in the right position. Then I realised I hadn't confirmed his learning. I'd been on the training field and I'd been putting him in position. I'd been telling him what to do and where to go. And of course on a match day, you're not there. And I never confirmed what's he going to do when I'm not there telling him. And so the coaching, that was particularly harsh because I think we could have gone for a grand final that year. A grand slam, sorry, not a grand final that year, and it was totally devastating. And from there on in, you know, I changed all my coaching philosophy in terms of, you know, I went from a tell coach to getting players to confirm that they understand how to execute and how to play.
Now, final question. Obviously, it's no secret that obviously you've been implementing since you took over as really running the coaching here at Bath. You've really been implementing a lot of effective strategies this season, which has really shown in your performance for how you've accelerated around the other clubs in improving as a whole team. How much would you place on, one is developing that performance environment, I know you talk about every time a lot, but also the fact of you implement that pressure loading every single week within the training environment. What level of importance and effect has that had within the overall performance of the team?
Yeah, huge effect. I think the leveling the performance bit with pressure is the end bit, really. There's a lot of things gone at the beginning in terms of we wanted to be an every time team, and what did that mean? Well, basically it means that if you're on the ground, you've got to get off the ground onto your feet as quickly as possible every time, not just when you felt like it, not when you were fresh, not when you were winning, not when it was sunny, but every time. So we wanted to show the players what did that look like, and for the players to understand that, and that took quite a bit of time. And you can't, as a coach, you can't miss that in training. You can't, if somebody's not doing it, although you're concentrating on something else, if someone's not doing them basics, getting off the ground as quick as possible, you can't particularly miss it. And it got to a stage where you feel like you're not getting through to the players, and then all of a sudden one or two senior players, one or two junior players pick it up quicker, and then they start monitoring it themselves, they start policing it themselves. And once you get that, once the players start getting the every time mentality where they're telling each other, then you're in a good place. And once we did that, we'd also, two things we did, Mark, with learning the bit. We learn at the beginning of the week, and we're still learning at the beginning. Anything new, we're loading at the beginning of the week. Then become the last 2 or 3 sessions of that week, 2 sessions in particular, we hand it over to the players, where we're saying to the players, now you should know everything what to do. Even under the extreme pressure, we believe that you can go out there and execute. So we call that a performance session, where the players don't learn anything new, and anything they should do, they should know, and they should perform it accurately. In them sessions, if a red light came on and the players have got it wrong, then particularly we look back at what we'd done Monday, Tuesday, and we realised we probably haven't covered that as best we could Monday, Tuesday. So it was basically the coach's fault early in the week that the players come Thursday got the role wrong, for example. So, but then we also had Friday to fix it, and then go forward to Saturday, and that's what brilliant for us. But the first and foremost was an every time mentality. The fact that we load the front end of the week with learning, the end of the week with what we call performance. The players should know what they do, and they police that themselves.
And it must be difficult for you within your season, because I know I work with a lot of different sports, and they ask the question, well, people like rugby and football, they've got a game every week they can focus on, but you must have some challenges within that of 3/4 way through the season, keeping the players focused and loading on that level of excellence. It must be tough.
Yeah, it is tough. I think the one thing we've done really well this year is that although we've not covered a certain area for 3 weeks, for example, we've been able to just throw that in as a surprise, just to reconfirm learning. And it was quite hilarious at first when we started doing it, because it was like an alien. The players, well, what we're doing, this new drill we've not done for ages, for 3 weeks. I can't remember what to do. But because we were coaching the way we were, because it was always confirming the learning that we've done on the Monday, Tuesday, confirm. Down the track we throw something in now as a surprise. It's a defence day. Right, we're going to do tackle technique, and we're going to do edge defence, and then all of a sudden, turn around, it's 5-man line out, 2 us on attack, what are we doing? And the players go, boom, turn around, and they know exactly what to do. They can deal with them surprises, and that's what the game is. The game is, be able to deal and adapt to anything that's thrown at you. And the more we can do that in training, on the back of the confirmed learning during the bottom of the week, then we feel we're ready to play.
So it sounds like you've had to have some real patience with developing a new culture and loading this pressure type thing as every time thing, because it sounds like it takes months and years to develop this to a natural level within the players. You obviously haven't just given up, tried it, didn't work, given up. You've obviously had to keep layering for it to actually start to give you the return on the investment.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting because we're not there yet. We're not exactly where we want to be, and yet we've been pretty successful this year on the first 2 or 3 steps. I don't know how many steps we have to take, but the first 2 or 3 steps, we know we can get better and we can improve and we can go again. And the thing for me, it's not just the players, it's the whole organisation have to have that mentality. So whatever your job is, whether you're the kit man or whether you're the team manager, whether you're the conditioner, you've got to have that, I'm an every time person. If I need to be on the field before the players get out there as a physio, for example, and be ready, then that's what we do. You know, it's no different. The kit man puts a kit out every week in a certain way that he has this every time mentality, you know. So it helps. It helps when the organisation's like that as well, and you have to work with your support staff as well to get them to understand what that means and why we do it. And when, excuse the language, we're not anal in that. We're doing it for a reason.
Well, thanks for that, Mike. I really look forward to seeing where Bath's going to be by this time next season and the season after. It sounds like exciting times here at Bath Rugby.
Thanks.